Ladies and gentlemen, there is a statement which President William Ruto made way back last year in March. And that statement is making sense to me now. In that statement, William Ruto promised to nominate a woman as his running mate in 2027.
Cecily Mbarire is the chair of UDA, not by default. It is deliberate and it is intentional. And one of the assignments she has is that we must, as a party, lead from the front, and we must make it in the rules, Madam Cecily Mbarire, that when Rigiji and myself tukifika hapo mbele na tumepangana, tumekubaliana vile itaenda, we must also agree that going forward, if a man is a candidate for president in our party, the woman must be the runner. And if a woman is the candidate, then a man can be a running mate. Okay? And we must also cascade it down to the governors. So, and we must be intentional and deliberate about it, otherwise it will never happen. And I know fellow party leaders in other parties will agree with us, because we all agree, because I'm sure the party leader in Wiper supported Wavinya, the party leader in ODM supported Gladys, and all the other party leaders supported their women candidates. So we will do this not because we want to do anything against men, but we want to balance so that we all move together. And Madam says, as you undertake that exercise, you will have my 100% support.
By the time William Ruto was making that statement, Rigathi Gachagua was still his deputy. I'm now imagining that the main reason why William Ruto removed Rigathi Gachagua was simple. The running mate coming from the mountain. There is no way William Ruto was going to change a running mate from the mountain if Rigathi Gachagua was still going to be the deputy president. Ladies and gentlemen, the question which I want to ask you, do you think William Ruto will go into the next election with Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki as his deputy? I doubt, because yesterday Musalia Mudavadi was in Nyeri. I want you to listen to Musalia Mudavadi, because according to Musalia Mudavadi, if the mountain will play, then they'll take that running mate slot.
May the soul of the departed continue resting in peace as the sleuths work to bring the perpetrators to book. To the political scene now, Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, has called on the people of Mount Kenya region to join together other Kenyans in forging national unity. Mudavadi says the prosperity of the country is hinged on the unity of purpose that will propel development across the nation.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, accompanied by UDA members of Parliament from Mount Kenya region, attended a church service at AIPCA in Othaya, Nyeri County, where he appeared to warn the vote-rich Mount Kenya region against supporting the opposition.
Na mimi nataka niwashukuru viongozi wa hapa. You are solid. You are solid. Na nyinyi mkicheza vile Kimani Ichung'wah amemueleza, sisi tunanyemelea. Mkicheza, mkiteleza, mkiwachilia, tutachukua. We will take. Kwani unafikiri namna gani? So a bird in hand is better than 10 in the bush.
That is none other than the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objectives. That is why the statement by William Ruto last year in March is now making sense. The truth of the matter is that William Ruto's interests, because I've always explained to you guys on this platform that in politics you have only two constants, the interest and betrayal. William Ruto's political interests can no longer be served in Mount Kenya or by the people of the mountain. Why? In 2022, William Ruto picked Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate. The truth is, even if William Ruto had not picked Rigathi Gachagua, he would have still picked Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki. And even if Kindiki was not picked, William Ruto would have still gone ahead and picked Moses Kuria. And even if Moses Kuria, he would have picked Ndindi Nyoro, named them. The truth of the matter is that by 2022, William Ruto had no option other than to pick his running mate from the mountain. Why? Because Mount Kenya was going to determine whether he was going to win or lose. In 2027, Mount Kenya is not going to be a factor in William Ruto's political equation. And that's why it's going to be possible for William Ruto to replace Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki. And the two names which are coming up, that of Gladys Wanga, is because of the woman factor William Ruto spoke about. When he spoke about it, most people interpreted it because by that time signs of cracks had started emerging between him and his former deputy that he was actually trying to groom Anne Waiguru. I can assure you, Anne Waiguru is now out of equation. And of course, the name of Musalia Mudavadi is also now emerging because Ruto is also keen on a lawyer running mate. In short, William Ruto's running mate in the next election, ideally, will come from the Luhya nation or the Luo nation, or let me call it western side of the country, unless William Ruto will decide to take a huge gamble. Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I want to reveal to you guys why William Ruto might actually decide to replace Professor Kithure Kindiki with either Gladys Wanga or Musalia Mudavadi. Before you do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. Why do you think William Ruto would be tempted to replace Professor Kithure Kindiki? The truth is, politics is about interest. And Professor Kithure Kindiki served William Ruto's interest during the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. That interest cannot be served again in 2027. Let me ask you this question. In September last year, just a month before Rigathi was impeached, over 35 members of parliament from the mountain endorsed Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki for the presidency in 2027. My question is, do you think if Professor Kithure Kindiki were to call for a meeting with MPs from the mountain, do you think he will be able to attract 35 members of parliament from the mountain? Listen in and watch these MPs. Do you think he will be able to attract them?
The prevailing state of affairs and the urgency of the mission ahead. There is need to have a link that will create a nexus between us and the national executives on matters development. Accordingly, we as elected leaders from this region and its diaspora, on our own behalf and that of our people, unanimously resolve that our link to the national government to be the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, Professor Kithure Kindiki, whose responsibilities in the executive includes the coordination of national government functions across the country. This declaration is issued on the 12th of September 2024 by the following members. We are going to share this report with you, so you'll be able to see the members present. We have 35 members with us here.
The truth of the matter is that the politics of the mountain has shifted drastically after the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. And even those who actually supported those impeachments, some of them are currently safely behind Rigathi Gachagua. Ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the reasons why Ruto is likely to replace Kindiki. Number one is the emerging political developments in the mountain. Number one is the emerging political developments in Mount Kenya. William Ruto is currently walking on a very thin thread in the mountain. His rating, according to my sources, was around 19% before he embarked on those tours. After he left, the ratings went down, which means if elections were to be held today in the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto might actually not get 15% of the votes from the mountain. And what is disturbing William Ruto's mind is where can he get or where can he recover the over 85% votes he's going to lose from the mountain? Where? One of the things would be the winning formation. He will have to persuade the Luos that I want you guys to support me, but I'm giving you this. He will have to convince the Luya nation that I want Musalia Mudavadi as the deputy president. But remember, following the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua and how William Ruto was treated by Uhuru Kenyatta, the office of the deputy president is no longer appetizing to the political class. So there's a by-election which is going to happen in Benin North, where Justin Muturi comes from, where he had the only member of parliament and a DP called Ruku. Ruku was appointed by President Ruto as a cabinet secretary. So a by-election is going to happen there. If Kindiki will deliver that by-election, he will survive. If he will be embarrassed during that by-election, I can assure you, Kindiki will not be William Ruto's running mate. So the reason why William Ruto nominated Ruku was to make that decision. That's number one. Number two, there is also a strong Western factor in William Ruto's re-election bid. The question is, because it's no longer secret, that the mountain has gone. Where will William Ruto get the votes from? His answer to that is simple. He plans to get those votes from the Luya nation and from the Luo nation. But what will it be in for the Luo nation or the Luya nation? For the Luya nation, Mudavadi running mate. For the Luo nation, they'll be glad because William Ruto has already given them the cabinet secretary for finance, the first one. They've been given the attorney general for the first time. Now what they're waiting for is to be given the first woman vice or deputy president. So because Western factor is a huge factor for William Ruto, he might actually sacrifice Professor Kithure Kindiki and tell him after the election, you are going to be the cabinet secretary for interior. Otherwise, they are both going to lose. Number three, I think it's also about the 2032 succession politics. Who do you think William Ruto would support in 2032 if he were to be re-elected? I doubt if William Ruto will nominate someone from the mountain because Ndindi Nyoro, you are thinking, is already left. Kindiki, I doubt. In my view, William Ruto is trying to groom Musalia Mudavadi. So by grooming Musalia Mudavadi, it means he can easily nominate him as the deputy president, support him from there, nominate him as the presidential candidate if he wins his re-election, campaign for him. Because Musalia Mudavadi can actually take care of William Ruto's interest. Number four is very powerful and you need to listen to it. The ODM party's demands to Ruto. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's one mistake William Ruto will regret was the move to engineer the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. Immediately Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, William Ruto became exposed. ODM party then found a space and are now in a situation where they can actually dictate their terms of engagement with William Ruto. They can tell Ruto that, we want to campaign for you. We are willing to do this, but we want this in writing before the election. One of the things we'll want is the running mate. Ruto will easily give in. So unless ODM will not put those demands, Kindiki is safe. But if ODM were to put those demands on the table for William Ruto, Kindiki is doomed. And lastly, I think so far, Kindiki has actually also failed to consolidate Mount Kenya. If he had managed to consolidate Mount Kenya, especially Mount Kenya East, he would be safe. But I think so far, he has not succeeded in doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. If you enjoyed this video and you watched it up to this stage, please kindly let me know in the comment section. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.